So today I'm going to be talking about indie games and their communities, as a lot of them nowadays are just completely fucking AIDS, and I want to talk about what goes wrong with them, as recently they are getting a lot more worse. Indie games are fun to play as a lot of them stray away from the casual AAA games with different mechanics, different story, different characters of course. As in the past couple of years we've had games like Poppy's Playtime, which I haven't actually played yet, Among Us, Friday Night Funkin', and all these communities, now I don't say games for a reason, I say communities, have become so toxic and so AIDS that they give the game a bad reputation. Not because of the game itself, just the people who surround the game and make content and revolve their lives around the game. And what I want to talk about is how these games fall from grace essentially, whether that be people just not wanting to play it anymore, the community, and drama in the community. So yeah, that's it basically. The first thing I want to talk about is what is an indie game, and an indie game is basically a game that has a small development team and releases the game through their own studio instead of using a well-known publisher. An example of this would be Reflex Studios, who is my favourite indie developer, as they made really fun and scary games. But back to the main point being is that a lot of people fall in love with these indie games, and sometimes people make these games their entire personality or lives, which is fine at first, but then it gets to a point where it's so obsessive that it can harm the community and the game itself. The first game that I think needs to be talked about is Among Us. Like, I'm not even trying to meme it. It was such a popular game at the end of 2020. I just remember me and my friends would always play it after school and how big the game was. But after all the kids flocked in and started playing the game got really cringy as it started to appeal to a younger audience. And now the game is still doing well, like it recently got a VR release, but it's nowhere near as big as it was, well, when it first blew up. The game now is just a cesspit of cringe to a lot of people, which you can't really blame them for. As well, yeah, just look at this. Now the next game had a similar downfall, but it was meant to be an adult's game as it was released on Newgrounds, and that game is Friday Night Funkin'. Right, I know, the community is fucking dreadful. Like, there is no return for this community anymore. It's over. But I do want to speak about how it went from, I think it was in the top 10 most searched games of 2021. Like, it was so huge back in, I think it was the beginning of 2021 where I started to play it. There was a lot of drama. The game just never got updated regularly, and the community had to rely on all these mods being made, and a lot of the mods were just low quality in general. Like, there were some really good mods, but the mod pages were just so inflated with shit low quality mods. A week after the last update come out, which was about a year and a half ago I think now, like, it was quite long. I know they're making a full game or something, but no update has come out since. But that, like, you can forgive all that if the drama wasn't so fucking bad. A lot of kids flock to the game, and where kids are, you get pedophiles, which there are a lot of in that community. Like, there's basically a drama with every fucking mod that comes out where one of the developers is a paedophile and has like groomed kids. Like, that is why this community is so hated and just dreadful in general. Like, after all this drama, I remember I used to play this game a lot. Like, I fucking love rhythm games. Always had a slight soft spot with me. And after the community was being associated with pedophiles, I just stopped playing the game just because I didn't want to be associated with it. And I'm not the only one. There are others who have done this. just because the game has got such a bad reputation at the moment, and I can't see it coming back anytime soon. Don't get me wrong, it is still quite active. Like, I think it is still getting quite a lot of views on YouTube, but the community is just known for being full of paedophiles and full of children, and which is why it's got such a bad reputation at the moment. You know what, talking about this reminds me of another community I'm quite well acquainted with some of the people in. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, to be honest. There are many other communities with games that have followed the same downfall as the two I've talked about, and I could go on for about a whole nother hour of all the games that have just suffered from its communities, but I really cannot be fucking arsed to do that. So yeah, I'm ending the video here. I just wanted to ask, like, the main question is, why are indie communities so wank?